This is advanced SWOT analysis. Most of us do SWOT analysis in our reports, but do we really bother about making it advanced? Well, that's what exactly requires in the, what's required in the industry setting. Our typical SWOT analysis is less sufficient for those above us to make up an informed decision. Now, this is an example of how advanced analysis is done, and I have used Renuka Food, a Sri Lankan product, as an example. Just imagine Renuka Foods being exported to a selected European market. Renuka Foods is already there, but imagine that you've been there in a team tasked with increasing the sales to a particular operation in a country. Well, these are some of the examples. The key things in advanced SWOT analysis is the unique modern words. These are new age words, such as derivatives. You can't exactly go for the direct product. You might as well have to go for derivatives of the product. That means different versions of the product, because the modern marketplace is not exactly ready to go for one brand, one product. So take a look at Revelo chocolate, right? Comes in different derivatives, different types. Portfolio strategies. Now, what exactly is it? Our strategy? Are we going to go for premium or mass marketing? Is it for beverages, or is it as a baked product one? I'm talking about coconut related products, right? Maybe the drink or the milk, right? So the exact portfolio strategy should be identified, and identify that as part of a strength. And then the cross category bundling. Again, it's a modern thing, right? Uh, you might as well piggyback one product with the other. Many companies go for it, creating a bundle of it, because the modern customer uh, trends are generally attuned towards selecting, focusing on one particular loyal brand, or brand that he's loyal to, rather than shopping for different products and different brands. So that's the way. So cross category bundling is again pretty much of an important area. And then the SKU, that means stock keeping unit. You need to think about how the retail shop would be able to categorize the product, which is very, very essential. You can't just make up the product and look for a market to sell, but always think about the delivery point. Do you have that strength? Is it organic premium or which way you're going to go for the stock keeping unit? How would the retailer, the supermarket would brand your product? If you have that capacity to do it in a very specific way, then that is a strength. Moving further strength. Now remember, SWOT has to come up in couple of paragraphs, not in a table where key points are done. Analysis is essential in SWOT, where the reader, or the team leader, or perhaps the senior management get a good hang on your angle of internal and external capacities of the product. The next one, the further strength, right? We are going for the same thing. Under the strength, traceability risk. Typical buyer in the modern era is very, very discerning, extremely what you call as focused on where he is getting the product. Very discriminating. So, I mean, something like Renuka, right? Origin is clear. It comes up with one brand. It's clearly set on, from technically from tree to the product to the shop, like right down the line is one brand, one supplier, one company, one manufacturer. So such a thing helps the confidence of the buyer. So that's an advantage that Renuka has. That's why I picked the product also. The traceability risk has to be very low, rather than the middleman making a product. And then the storytelling plays a huge role. If a company has a nice story, or rather strong story capacity, uh, in terms of creating such stories, well, that's a key strength. And then, yes, the organic stock keeping units are very, very attractive to the European marketplace now, because the tendency towards the vegan products, or the natural products are very high. That's another strength. And then the last one, market entry friction. And again, a new term. These are all modern terms, right? They were not there about 5 years ago. So when we come up with the marketing plan, they should come up with the current age, new age wordings, new age terminology. How easy or difficult is it for a new product to enter a new market, which has become harder because of so much of the restrictions in different countries. What was earlier 10 years ago is no longer easy because of trade restrictions set by so many countries. So, what's the problem that we are having? We need to identify that. We call it market entry friction. Is it high or low? We need to identify if it's low, it's a strength. Then, weaknesses, yeah, unfamiliarity with the brand could be an issue that Renuka would be facing. Renuka exports more than 20% of its product, incomes. It comes from the exports to Europe, but still there may be many markets where Renuka as a brand could be unfamiliar. Co-branding, private label contracts. Now even the biggest of brands go for it now. There was a time when one brand used to sell all over the world, but the customers are exactly not one team, one unit. They go for different taste and different alliances. They have different loyalties, different trends. So many, even the key brands, right now, do not shy away from going for co-branding, working with another local brand. That is private label contracts. That means providing the product to a local label, and the product is sold under the local label name. There is this tendency happening. Even the key manufacturers of motor cars go for this now, right? So why not food products? And then the shelf life constraints. That's an issue. We need to think about how it's being delivered, how long can it be stored, in which form, which quality, in the end point, which is normally the retail shop or the supermarket. So we need to be very careful in our, development and design of the entire product range. Shelf life constraint has to be thought about. Our difficulties in it, as Renuka is having, that's a weakness. Yeah. The other thing is regulatory labeling. Yeah, it's continuously changing, right? The allergen rules have come, contaminants have come. The new food checks are there. There are so many compliance processes than ever before, right? What was there last year may have been updated this year. So there's continuous focus by many European regulatory authorities to increase the food quality, right? Sometimes they use it as a restriction mechanism against imports. But anyway, it's a weakness if we are not up to the relevant required standard. Next one is the opportunities. Again, the vegan aspect, the plant milk adoption, right? Plant-based trends, health-based stuff, the premium and organic niche. So the world is moving towards organic products, the single origin focus on it, and the ability to trace. We call it the traceability of the product to the original source. All that is pretty much interconnected now, far more than it used to be years ago. So larger players, the global brands, have a challenge, whereas the smaller brands or the medium-sized brands from developing nations do have a better chance if they could come up with the solid evidence of its organic nature of the product, as well as particularly the single origin of the product. And one key thing is, agencies or adjacencies. What's the meaning of that? Can our product be lined up with other brands, other products coming from other brands? There's no way that we can come up with a total solution for a customer's needs. So, but can a customer line up our product with some other brands that go well in the market? This, what you call the adjacencies, is a very good, relevant topic in the modern era. So, yet again, can you see how the marketplace has changed? So, with the availability of so many brands, and kind of a lesser visibility of too many dominant brands results in you need to the producer or the brand needing to look for the opportunity of lining up your brand with other brands. So adjacencies is a key thing as an opportunity that Renuka should be thinking about. And then the threats, the price pressure, the continuous changes in the currency risk, the last point, right, is an issue, right? So we need to have particular planning set, and there are so many nations that do supply products to the same market, and the threat assessment shall be having an excellent analysis of these threat aspects from whatever the regions. You can't just name them, you have to give a specific analysis of them, right? Normally with the SWOT comes a competitive analysis. So the price pressure is a key thing as opposed, just to the quality pressure. And then the pesticide contaminant limits, food authorizations. The world is highly attuned to the fact that a lot of food productions have chemical inducements, other aspects of pollution. So the buyer is very discerning. Buyer needs to know, right? So it's the duty of the brand to provide that information and ensure that your brand can stand up to any authorization. And of course, the supply volatility. The modern era creates far more volatile supply chains than what was in the past. Weather aspect, the climate change, the shipping related issues, transportation factors, a lot of things do have an impact. So you have to think of those things as well, right? These are the nuances in our, a SWOT strategy, and these small aspects have to play a bigger role when we set up our advanced SWOT analysis. So the fact that you need to be focused on, these four internal and external aspects in a more in-depth way is a prime requirement in any marketing plan of today.